What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Yammie Noob. Today we are doing the unholy task of range testing the Zero SRF. Now, Zero claims that this motorcycle will do 123 miles combined with highway and city use. Now, electric motorcycles are a little bit different because when you ride them in the city at slower speeds, they actually get a better range than when you ride them on the highway. When you're on the highway at higher speeds, you're asking more out of the electric motor, and so that actually drains the battery more. It's different than an internal combustion engine, where if you're going faster, you usually see higher range. So today we're gonna ride this thing until it literally depletes the battery. Conditions are pretty good today. It's about 70 degrees outside, nice and kind of warm. Normally an electric battery, if it's cold, will have the range be depleted a little bit faster because the battery doesn't work as well, but that's all we're doing today. And of course, big shout out to Eurocycle for lending us this Zero SRF to test and ride around a little bit. It's very, very interesting seeing this motorcycle out and about and using it in this electric capacity. Hit the link down below and check out what Eurocycle has available in their inventory. And now, without further ado, let's get out on the road and see how long it lasts. All right, guys, we're heading off with the Zero here, doing the very important range testing. And it's not looking good, honestly. We're a couple miles from the shop right now. Had to stop to get gas for my truck right over there. And it's already showing a 90% state of charge with a 69-mile range. And while that number is nice for a different reason, I'm a little disappointed in that number right now. So we started out with a trip indicated range of 200 miles on this bike. So we're working off that number over here, 200 miles. So we're about a mile into it right now. So that's going to be our measurement for today. We're also going to use the truck as a measurement just in case, this doesn't work for whatever reason. Just have a backup plan, you know. And away we go. We're in street mode on this machine, keeping it nice and mellow. We're not going to be putting it in sport mode the whole time. That'll make it a little unfair to the old Zero here, you know. We don't want to do anything like that. And what I'm going to do with this motorcycle is do a ride like I would normally do on my personal rides. Like I would take the desert sled out to, hit up some twisties. I probably got to take the highway to get there every once in a while, or maybe go down my favorite little back B road or something like that. So we're just going to be doing that with the Zero here today. But I got to tell you, I'm already unimpressed with, so this motorcycle is brand spanking new. It only has 201 miles on the odometer. And the battery that was plugged in overnight, I've been leaving this thing to charge for as long as I can remember. It's already showing a 90% state of charge. Now, maybe it's like an iPhone's battery where it just drains a little bit in the beginning at first and then it kind of sits there for a while. But I'm not super confident that that's going to be the case because I'm already seeing it dip down to 89% right here. And as I mentioned, conditions today are pretty ideal. It's about 65 degrees Fahrenheit out here right now, which, if my memory serves me correctly, is like 20-something degrees Celsius, 22, 23, something like that. So pretty favorable conditions. It's not overly cold today for testing the batteries. So I'm confident that we're going to get, hopefully, at least 100 miles out of this thing. But the range right now is telling me 68 in street mode. And you guys got to realize, here in America, 55 miles per hour is like cruising speeds on most of our streets. It's pretty unlikely, unless you're in a dense urban setting, for you to be going in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range. Here on our highways, on our twisty roads, going between 40 to 60 miles per hour is usually what you're doing. And Zero claims that that is the highway speeds, and it already starts claiming reduced range in those speeds. So it's a little concerning that that's going to be the case here today with this bike. I would really like to see better numbers out of this thing. Especially, this is an honest-to-God, real-world test of this machine. I'm going to be riding it until the range tells me I've got one more mile left on the battery. That way we can pull off safely somewhere and I can load it up into the trucks. I don't want to run it until I literally die on the side of the road, because if I die right here, it'd be kind of hard to load the bike up into a truck and stuff like that. So We're gonna keep going until it's got 1 mile left on the range over here, or the state of charge is at 1%. We're gonna see how it goes. So let's get into it. Alrighty guys, one of the most common things that you'll do on your normal rides around town, at least I hope you do, because motorcycles are fun and meant to be used in fun ways, is if you take off from a light, you want to get on the gas and have some fun, right? Feel the acceleration of this machine. So that's what we're going to do as soon as this light turns green here. I'm going to romp on this throttle a little bit because I like feeling 140 foot-pounds of torque or whatever it was. So let's go. It's kind of slow in street mode, honestly. It's not that fast. Got to put it in sport mode. All right, I'll go ahead and put it in sport mode. Why not? Let me get this thing in sport mode. And just a little bit. I'm riding a motorcycle. I want to have some fun. I want to feel sportiness, you know? I'll put it back in street mode here in a little bit, but that's nice. That's a good amount of juice. My range is already getting eviscerated being in sport mode and going 55. It's just dropping like a brick. Oh my God. I was concerned when I head out today. I was like, oh, I'm going to be on this bike all day. I'm going to have to ride this thing for like 3 or 4 hours. But I don't think this is going to take longer than 2 hours, honestly, which is a big bummer. You want to have a longer than 2 hour ride. And yeah, sure, you could pull off on a charge station or something like that, but you gotta wait 80 minutes for this thing to charge. You're really gonna sit at the side of a coffee shop for 80 minutes? I guess if you're grabbing lunch with your buddies or something, yeah, sure, you can pull off and be somewhere for an hour and 20 minutes, but that's kind of long for a little lunch break mid-ride. Let's get a little pull in. Let's make sure no one's gonna open that truck up. Yep, people see an open lane and they immediately get over on it, don't they? So again, guys, I'm doing this as a normal ride as I would any day of the week. You know, just taking my bike out for a quick little rip around town. You know, gonna hit up my local twisties, have some fun with this thing. Why not? Flick it in here. Flick that zero in right here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that grip. Look at the cornering capability, the potential, the high degree of yeet. I will say it is so pleasant riding this motorcycle. So pleasant. But yeah, this is what I was telling you guys. You know, like I've been cruising on this bike. I left the shop not that long ago. I'm already at 82% as state of charge. That's not good. That's really bad. That's really not very good. We'll see how it does after these twisties, but I'm not that convinced. Can you stand on the zero? Yeah, you can stand on it, kinda. So here we are, carving up one of my favorite little twisty bits of road here in Austin, Texas, City Park Road. Nice bit of ribboned asphalt here. Unfortunately, I got a lot of traffic, so I won't be able to carve up any PBs on my local road here. I'm at 80%, and I've gone 8 miles. This does not bode well for the zero, does it? No. 79% on the state of charge here. One of the most annoying things that this bike does, once you hit a certain state of charge, I think it's like under 10%, you get the absolutely most neutered throttle response, which is a bummer. I wish this bike didn't think so much for me, you know? Like on a gas bike, if I want to be stupid and keep getting on the throttle when I'm low on gas, I can do that. It's not going to stop me from getting on the gas because I'm low on gas. It'll just sputter and die once I'm done. And this twisty section here is a good test for some of the more slower speed stuff too. I'm trying to get a good blend of mileage on this today because it would definitely be unfair to just do highway on this thing, because realistically, you're not just going to do highway when you ride a motorcycle. You're going to do some city. You're going to do some highway, you're going to do some twisties, you're going to do some, you know, stuff like that. So it's not just one thing or another thing. So we're trying to do it as balanced as we can here today. Alrighty, everyone, we're about at the halfway mark of the range test with the Zero, and I wish that we had been making it a little bit further, but we were actually only 34 miles into our journey, and we're at 59% on our state of charge, and our range is showing at 54 miles. Now, the main takeaway that I've noticed so far is that the modes really matter. When you're in eco mode on this motorcycle, you'll notice the state of charge and the range barely dips down as you cruise down the road. So if you own one of these bikes, I highly recommend you get familiar with and use use your modes, because that's going to be a lifesaver for you in terms of charge. I put this thing in the street mode once we hit this fun little twisty roads out here in the hill country, and I literally started seeing my state of charge drop after every corner. It's kind of depressing watching your battery just drain as you try to have some fun with your motorcycle. The takeaway for me so far is that you have to be very judicious and thoughtful about your usage on this bike. It's very different than a gas motorcycle where you can romp on and have some fun and not really notice the fuel consumption change all that much. So far, I've noticed that on the Zero, you have to be very, very mindful of your throttle, your modes, and what you're doing with the motorcycle. Now, that being said, I am using this bike in a normal way. I'm not trying to hypermile it. I'm not trying to only use it in one specific way. I'm using it like I'd use it any other motorcycle. So I'm getting on the gas, putting it in sport mode, taking some corners, jumping on the highway over here, and I'm trying to have fun with it, as I've demonstrated doing a quick little burnout with it as well. So we're going to keep going, see how far we make it. So far, we're only 34 miles into the journey. I'm going to keep putting it in eco mode, street mode, maybe sport mode here and there, and just try to keep using it in a normal way. So let's get after it.
What happened?
That's it. It's at 4% with 3 miles left, so I couldn't get it above 40 or 50 miles per hour, so it's kind of dead after 86 miles on the clock, which, if we're generous for the range, that's an extra 3 miles, so 89 beautiful miles on the Zero. And yeah, now we got to load it up in the truck and wrap it up at the shop. Alrighty guys, we've returned with the Zero SRF. We've done our range testing and it was a little bit shorter than anticipated. So Zero claims on their website that the combined mileage when you're going 55 miles per hour average on the highway is 123 miles. With 70 miles per hour average on the highway combined with city use, they claim 109 miles. Unfortunately, we today, doing a very typical Texas ride, hill country stuff, highway, twisty roads, suburban, and getting around to our destinations, we saw a combined mileage of 89 miles. So that's a little less than 20% worse than what Zero claims. The other big thing that they don't mention to you as well is that when this battery is draining in its capacity, you actually feel the power losing as well. So it starts to feel more like a 650 as the battery drains, and then eventually your top speed gets limited. You can put it in sport mode or street mode or whatever mode you want, but the motorcycle is basically telling you that it's in eco mode, and you see your top speed just lowering and lowering and lowering. So really, after about 20% left on the state of charge, you are seriously losing out on the performance of this machine. Overall, the riding experience is pretty great. I love the zen-like quality of the motor. It's really fun to ride. It doesn't wear you out at all. But until we see faster charge times and bigger range, this is really a glorified around town kind of bike, which is a bummer. I really wanted to love and enjoy this motorcycle. However, I didn't really feel that it could be such a machine to, use on a big long ride with your friends and all that kind of stuff, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have a bike that you're gonna have to sit 80 minutes and charge this thing up if you're out on a big ride with your buddies. So that was a range on the Zero for today. Guys, stay tuned. We'll have more content with Zero's SRF. We'll catch you on the next one. See you later. So, I hate to break it to you, but this video is actually over. But if you hit this one right over here, you can keep watching your sweet Papa Yam doing some fun stuff. And if for nothing else, do it for Yammie-chan. Don't worry, I'll wait. I'll just wait. It's okay. Take your time.